it amazes me like what people can just make a career out of, you know.
Yeah.
But it's also, you know, being a musician, I've been chasing these things, you know. I've been trying to like make these things happen, and it's always like you look at that other person and you're just like, how did this build, you know? But it's just like that one passion, sticking to one thing. I feel like that's
and doing it over. It's that repetition. Yeah. It's like that with everything. But I think I've noticed with all artists, we all have we all try to express our ways in more than just the main way we express ourselves.
Yeah.
We're all attracted to painting and drawing and building things and manipulating other things, and just any way that you can express an idea.
Yeah,
is
the ADHD.
Satisfying.
It's real, man.
Yeah.
Like I bounce around from stuff all the time.
And obsessive too. Like,
yeah.
We're all obsessive.
So obsessive.
What's up, Beau?
What's up, man?
Good to have you in, man.
Yeah, it's good to be back.
Yeah,
it's
sure.
been about a year. So.
Yeah. Is this the third time you've been on?
Yep.
That's right. Yeah. Yep. You're one of our first guests.
I know. It was fun.
Very cool. You guys are busy now, huh?
Yes. Very busy.
What's going on in the music world?
So we got a song coming out Friday.
Okay, nice.
Then we got an album. We're putting out an album in June. So we got that's coming out, and we've been trying to like pair all of our songs, like both singles so far. We've had a beer paired with them. Like we've started just brewing beers with different breweries around North Carolina. So,
that's good marketing.
Yeah. We stumbled into it. Like it was just really funny. Like it all started as a joke because I was like, we should try to make a beer called Chuck Mountain Dew. And we thought that was just like a dumb name. And Odin they loved it. So it's
a great name.
They made it. And then we were like, we should try to do this, like pair it with singles. And it's been working well. I mean, it's really cool because we're like getting super into the craft beer community. And
that's good.
Like we've got at least like 3 or 4 different collaborations coming up, like after the ones that we got a beer coming out next week with a brewery down in Graham, North Carolina.
Okay, yeah.
And it's only available there. So it's
nice.
It's like you got to go there to get
it. Is that Little Brother?
No, Little Brother, that one's it's sold out.
Okay.
Oh. Yeah, okay. That one's sold out in like 2 weeks. So we were pushing it. Like
nice.
It was cool.
Oh, so you have a beer at Little Brother too.
Mm-hmm.
So I've done comedy there. Lucas Gumbrick has a show, pretty good comedy show.
Yeah, we were on that show one of those shows together.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. That one was fun.
Yeah.
I like that place.
I like Little Brother. It used to be the Idiot Box. Like that location was the old Idiot Box location. Did you ever go there?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
In Graham?
Oh, no. I was talking about the Little Brother up here.
No, we're talking about the one in Graham.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, I've been there too. That one's pretty cool. They're turning the back, like that back room is no longer going to be an event space. It's going to be a restaurant.
Oh, well, that show's going to change.
Yeah, sounds like that show's going to be different.
Yeah. I think I don't know how soon that's going down, but I know that's in the works right now.
Okay, interesting.
Might be top secret information, but
yeah,
we because we did a beer.
We'll be sure to tell Lucas not to watch this.
Yeah,
it's like you're going to lose that spot. But there's a bunch of places down there in Graham.
Oh yeah, for sure. And you can do comedy in a restaurant too.
Yeah. Just do it out on the sidewalk out front.
Everybody's trying to enjoy their food, and we're just telling jokes.
Yeah, there's like, come on, man.
Ruining their dinner experience.
Well, here it's going to be like a quick, like kind of dinerish type of food. I hear.
Okay.
That's it. All might be totally wrong too. So
yeah,
this is all hearsay.
I have been seeing comedy and been like, you know what? I'd really like to eat an omelet right now. That would be nice.
Yeah,
a little diner omelet.
Nothing goes with comedy like eggs.
Yeah, it's just great trying to captivate people while they're eating.
Yeah, it's like and that I've played at restaurants before, and that's the most awkward thing in the world is like singing a song and someone's like just eating spaghetti.
Yeah, they're not paying attention.
No.
Yeah.
Oh no, they'll be like looking at you and just like slurping a noodle up.
Oh yeah.
That's awkward.
You make eye contact when it's too long.
Probably a little better with music than comedy. At least
Yeah.
There's a lot of noise in the room, so you can't hear the meeting.
Yeah. No, that is one good thing about. I mean, it's really awkward playing music a lot of the times. Like we play a lot of breweries.
Yeah. Well,
some people want to be there to see music, and some people definitely don't, you know.
Yeah.
When people don't, and they're just like sitting there, just like staring at you, and it's like it messes me up all the time. Like I'll forget lyrics, and I'll just be like just turn a little bit. But with comedy, that would be hard to be like, if you forgot your punchline, it'd be pretty hard to.
Yes, brewery shows can go either way. They can be really fun or they can be really awful because nobody wants the comedy. Like nobody's there for comedy. Like it wasn't promoted well. They're just there to hang out and drink beer.
Yeah, and they're just
and hopefully listen to music, and then we're just ruining their night.
That's the best part, though.
But with music, if seeing a live music in a brewery is like a bonus. Mm-hmm. I think for most people, I think that's
there's a band.
Yeah,
and then sometimes they're like, oh, there's a band. Like
that person shouldn't be out.
Yeah, get out of here. You shouldn't be out at a brewery.
You got to be ready for anything at breweries.
Maybe go to a wine bar or something.
Yeah.
Which part of Colorado are you from?
From Littleton, and then I moved. I was in Littleton, and then I was in Highlands Ranch, so like right by the foothills, and then maybe like 30 minutes outside of Denver.
Okay. I love Colorado. It's
I do too.
Cool state.
I miss it. I've only been back like 2 times since like I was 17 when we left, and only been back twice.
Yeah. How old are you now?
I'm about to be 36.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you've been here almost as long as you were there, out there.
I mean,
just
almost.
About. Yeah.
Because I moved away from here like after college, and I was gone for like 10 years.
Oh, that's right.
Then came back.
That's right. You were in Nashville or something, weren't you?
Yeah. I was in LA for like 4 years, and then Nashville for almost 5. And then like 4, I always get mixed up with how long I was out there because it was just a blur. Yeah. But I'm happy to be back in North Carolina.
What's so cool now, everything's so digital. You don't have to be in these big markets.
Yeah.
You can do well anywhere.
Yeah. That's my favorite part is that like you used to have to be in these big cities, and I feel like it was just a trap. You know? They're like, yeah, come out here, spend all your money living, and then chase your dream that we're not going to pay. We're going to pay you an experience, but, and now it's just like, you don't even have to tour if you don't want to.
And they'll just take everything out of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It was
dark
years out there, but it was like formative years.
But great experiences, like you said.
Yeah.
It's like an investment in your career early on.
Your future.
Yeah.
Let me make sure I have this on Do Not Disturb. Do not disturb. But yeah, no, it definitely, if I never lived there, I would not have had any kind of knowledge that I have. Like the older you get, the more kind of people, like your experiences take you further in life, I feel like. And that's like, this past year has been very, very, like, I don't know. People look at me as an adult now, not just like some dude. And it's like, because I'm working for a welding company, like an educational company, and I do a podcast for them, but like I might be moving into a bigger role with them, like becoming like their creative director of marketing for them.
Nice.
Just because they like my ideas. Like I'm always giving them ideas, and they're like, these are great ideas. And I'm like, yeah, pay me for them. You know?
For sure. Yeah, that's awesome. And that fits in good with what you do anyway. You're an artist, so it's just an extension of what you already do. So that's a perfect fit.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know what a creative director was for a long time. And then I looked at it because like they were asking me like what my role would be there, like what I would want, what kind of role I'd want. And I was like, I want to be like a creative director. And they're like, okay, that's pretty cool. We'll see. Like, we'll talk to you about it and just like outline things you would want to do, and we'll do the same. And so then I like looked up what a creative director was, and I was like, this is like everything I love to do. It's like you just have good ideas and find people to help make them happen.
Yeah,
and just stay on top of it.
It's a good place to be. Yeah, it's a good career.
So that's like my next. I was like, I guess that's something I could do, and so reached out to some of I have some friends that are creative directors at like production companies and stuff. And I was like, what do you do? Like, what does this job even mean? Like, and so we'll see. Like I should find out in the next couple of weeks if that's going down.
And they work with your touring schedule and stuff too?
Yeah. I mean, it's all remote. So.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just been super. We fell into this podcast. Like we were doing one where we were drinking like a bunch of different craft beers and just talking.
I remember that. Yeah.
And it was just more of like making fun of beers, or just like joking around. And like, we were like, let's make it a podcast version. It's like, it'll be a lot easier not having to do like video, like edit video down every week.
Yeah.
And so we went and talked to the assistant brewer at Odin. We're like, yeah, let's just go ask him, like, it's like, how did you get started in brewing? And like, what's your philosophy? And we're like, it'll be like 5 minutes. We could just add on the end of these episodes. It'll be cool, you know? And then that turned into a 45-minute long conversation with him about brewing. And we're like, this is way cooler. And like, this makes more sense and it's more valuable than anything we've done so far.
Now, do you film those or is it
No,
just audio?
All audio. And I mean, we're going to try to start filming just because it is a little confusing when it's like, yeah, so we go from the hot liquor tank into the oil kettle, and then we go into the whirlpool, and then we go over here to the heat exchange, you know. And it's like, people are like, okay, trying to follow a lot. Like, my mom is a big fan, like, and she's like, I've learned so much about. She's like, I know what diacetyl is now. You know, I'm like, well, there you go, Mom. You
Mom's gonna start brewing some beer.
I hope so.
What is diacetyl?
Diacetyl is an off flavor. It tastes like butter popcorn.
Oh,
but it comes from just contamination in the brewing process.
Oh, interesting.
So it's an accident.
It is an accident.
Sounds like a good accident, though.
You don't. No.
You don't want butter popcorn in your beer?
No, you don't want that. You don't want that. It's not good. And then I was telling him earlier, like, I brewed my first beer at home, and we learned about there's another off flavor. I can't remember what it's called, like what causes it, or what it's called, but it's caused by incomplete fermentation. Oh. So like, you don't let it, the yeast work as long as it should. And then you'll have like an apple peel flavor to it.
Oh, interesting.
And one of mine, it came out that way. So I called it Johnny Crappled Seed. I was like, this is a bad one.
Was it rough?
I mean, it's not my favorite beer I've ever had, but it's not the worst. I mean, like, there's some.
Have you made some good ones?
No, not yet. Oh. I mean, I haven't, but like, us brewing with like actual brewers, like, we actually got to go in and be like part of the process for 2 of them so far. Like, we did one with Little Brother, and we're there for the brewing day, we're there for the canning day, and hand delivered our cans to people. Like,
Canning day.
Canning.
Oh,
canning day. Okay, yeah.
Put in beers in cans.
Like, I used to own part of a winery, and or have some interest in a winery, and we would have like the grape smashing day and stuff where people get in the grapes.
It's so
crushing
much fun.
Day.
It's fun being part of the process.
Yeah. Shout out to Metaloni Cellars and my buddy Joey. But yeah, it's good wine.
Where's it located?
It's in Louisville.
Okay.
Like the Yadkinville area.
So
Yadkin Valley area.
We're trying to decide if we should break into wine and even distilling.
Sure.
Like, there's a couple distilleries. I mean, they're brews.
I mean, it's all related, so do it all. And
yeah.
And there's good audiences in all those places.
Yeah. And we just talked to a canning and bottling company.
You should definitely go out to Metaloni and perform, because they've got a nice venue.
Okay.
And they're packed every Saturday and Sunday.
Hey, that's where we like to be.
Yeah, I'll get you in touch with Joey.
Do they have spaghetti?
Well, they have food trucks coming there, so they could have spaghetti.
Hey, there you go. As long as people are just slurping down spaghetti noodles while we're playing.
Mostly just cheese and crackers and wine.
Hey, that's cool.
Yeah.
We're usually louder than the cracker crunch, you know.
There you go.
But yeah, no, it's been wild, man. Like, we fell into this beer thing, and it's like taking over our music career, you know, because we're like, we could go around and try to play a bunch of different like venues and go on tour and everything, or we can just like keep playing breweries and learn more about beer and keep doing collaborations. And we're trying to set up more events, like we did a darts tournament at Jake's with Little Brother as like a sponsor for it, and then we're doing a cornhole tournament at one of the festival we're playing. Because
Nice.
I was like, let's just do something. Like we're going to be camping out there all weekend. So it's like, let's do something fun.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's trying to set up.
Do you guys have your own custom cornhole boards?
We're going to. I mean, we did. We had really cool ones, and I won't say who left them out in the rain, but somebody left them out in the rain, and they split.
Too much beer.
Yeah, too much beer. Too much beer, and yeah, we'll say too much beer.
Yeah.
But I'm going to try to make some out of metal like this year.
Oh, nice.
Because those won't break, I don't think. But they will be very heavy. And I'm like, I got to figure out like how to make them durable, but also not way too much.
Yeah, that's a tough
one. I could do it, but like
if you can make them real thin.
Yeah.
Or make them out of aluminum. Can you do aluminum?
Yeah, I could do. I have to get a spool gun for my setup. But
Aluminum would be nice. That'd be super lightweight.
yeah, lightweight, not gonna rust up. It's always gonna
just don't fall on
them. Yeah, they're just nice and slippery. Like I have to coat them with something to slow down those bags.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, put some wax on there.
Yeah, we just went to. There's a new brewery downtown opening called Hidden Gate, and it's really awkward location. Like you know where Boxcar is downtown?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then behind there used to be that seafood restaurant.
Yeah, now it's like Fat Tuesdays or something.
Yeah, well, near Fat Tuesdays. So Fat Tuesdays is like located over in the like corner of that parking lot.
Yeah.
And then over to the right, there's like this double-story building that used to be a seafood restaurant, but now it's vacant. But right next to it used to be like a brass lamp repair, but now they turned that into a brewery. And
I figured that place would be doing hot. Brass lamp repair? Come on.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. That's where it's at.
I don't know why it fell off.
Yeah, right.
It's like my brass lamps break all the time, and I have no one.
You just take my pocket watches over there and stuff.
Yeah. There you go. But they turned that into a brewery, and I was just like, man, this is. I don't even know where I was going with this, but we want to do a bunch of like events and stuff with them, but. We went to their industry night. Oh, it was cornhole.
Yeah, it's on the cornhole boards, yeah.
Oh, my gosh. All right. So we went to this industry event with them. Like they were doing like people in the beer industry come out and try the beer. It was like free beer from this 1 hour. It's like packed, It's like whenever you have free beer, it's going to be packed.
Sure, yeah.
So we like go get our beers, and then we were out front because it was like packed inside. We're like, let's go out front. And then they had cornhole boards, and we're like, yeah, let's play some cornhole. Nicest cornhole boards ever. Like I've never seen like the bags. Like one side was slippery, one side had like
felt or
suede. So like it would stick. Like I was just like, this is like a whole different game. Like I've never played cornhole like this before. So I was like, I got to get something like that. So I'm gonna try to make it match what they have, just because it was such nice boards. But it would be nice to make them out of metal. So
yeah, well, you could always pour resin on top of them. If you made them out of aluminum or something, you could put decals all over them and pour resin over top.
See,
that would look cool.
It's new business.
Yeah,
creative business right there. Yeah, now I've never worked with resin, but I want to.
It's pretty easy.
Yeah, there's a lot of like working out bubbles and stuff.
Yeah, you have to when you mix it. You have to mix it pretty quickly, but you can't mix it too fast, because if you mix it too hard, it'll bubble up. And then when you pour it, you have to use a heat gun.
Get those out
on the surface just to get all the bubbles.
I'll have to try it out.
Yeah,
but it's just like
it's not too difficult.
My wife would be like, "Okay, we don't need any more hobbies. Okay, we don't," because I got into welding, and welding is very expensive. Like the tools and just like your PPE, and then all your consumables, like everything.
Yeah,
it's not the cheapest thing to do in the world, but I think if I was like, yeah, I'm gonna start doing epoxy stuff, she'd be like, no.
It's sort of related though.
Yeah, it'll work. It'll work like doing tabletops and stuff like that.
I mean, you need to just create a bunch of them so you can sell a lot of them, and that way you're covering your costs and making some profit.
Yeah, I just got to find that time. That's the one thing. Like I have all these like ventures I want to go and do. It's like I love making fire pits. Like I think it's really fun, like doing like creative different types of fire pits and reclaiming stuff.
That's cool. Yeah. I'm probably gonna build a fire pit at my house. So when I do, I'll let you know.
Hey, let me know, man. Like I like going over to DH Griffin. Have you ever just like gone over to?
We've taken some metal over there. Yeah, back when we had a dealership. Yeah.
Just walk through it, like walking through that scrapyard. There's so many like interesting things. Like I found a like vintage. I don't even know what they're called, but it's like something you fill with sand and compact the soil. Like it's like a sod compactor or something like that. But it was like the super old one, and I bought that, turned that into a fire pit, and like I had it in my backyard. And so Jeff, the bass player in Chuck Mountain, he bought the house right next to me.
Okay.
In an auction, which was
nice.
Real crazy.
Sounds like something from the 50s.
Yeah, it was so weird. But the guy right next to him, like he is always out in the backyard, and he's just like laying out like he's like the tannest person I've ever seen. But he's always out there, and for like months, because I built a fire pit that Jeff took and put on his patio, and then I had a bunch of other fire pits over at my house, and kept coming over. He's like, man, will you build me one of those fire pits? Like, I'll pay for your time. I'm like, I'm not worried about the time. I'm worried about the like material, you know?
Yeah.
And just every day he would come back over, or not every day, but it was quite often. Like he just kept coming over. He's like, you have any time to build me a fire pit yet? And then finally it was just like, dude, take this one. I was like, you can just have this one, because it was, I used it to just burn like just yard waste, you know?
Yeah.
And every day since he's had it, you can go out back and he's got it ripping.
You gotta appreciate that.
Yeah, I was like, well, at least you know it's getting really good use.
Yeah, he appreciates your art.
Yeah,
it's the value.
It was.
He doesn't need to pay you for it, but yeah.
It's fine. He's paying, and
he's your first sponsor to.
Endorsed.
Endorsed.
He's
consumer.
He's just a good case study. It's like, do you want this thing to work every day? It will.
Yeah.
Trust me.
It's quality.
Ask Gary. But yeah, no, I like fire pits. So if you need help.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Gotcha.
I like unique stuff too. So
yeah. Wow.
Having a reclaimed fire pit would be
there's all kinds
good way to go.
There's like these giant turbines over there that I keep wanting to like try and make something out, just because like the fans
like airplane turbines.
No, like it. I think they're from like some sort of dam. Some sort of power plant of some.
They're probably huge then, aren't they?
Huge.
Yeah.
Like, and I like every time I go there, I'm just like, they're never leaving. You know, they're going to be there forever until somebody comes and does something with them.
What, did you just use like the tip of it or something?
Well, I want to go and cut out like a ton of the little fan, because there's like the blades inside of the fans. Like I want to take those. I mean, because it would just be cool to do something with. It's already pre-cut. Like you're just like, you got a bunch of matching stuff, and I'm big on the symmetry when I make stuff. So
yeah,
having stuff that looks all the same, but then just form it into something new.
That's cool. Yeah.
I'm trying to go. There's a festival up in Michigan called Scrap Fest, which is just like people like from all around the country. They come in, go to their local scrapyard up in the actual location where the festival is, and they have an hour to get all of their material, and then they have a month to make their thing, and they got to bring it back. But I want to check that out, because like
a lot of folk art and stuff.
Yeah, well, it's all reclaimed like material. Like you have to use reclaimed stuff from there. Only that material is what you can use. So
nice.
The things that people can do with reclaimed stuff is insane.
Yeah, there's some real talented craftsmen out there.
Yeah. And that's the cool thing about like the welding podcast I do, is like I talk to people all across the globe about like different types of work. Like yesterday I had 3 podcasts. Like in the morning, I talked to Stephanie Hoffman, who she was the host of Metal Shop Masters. It was on Netflix, but she tours with the AWS, like the American Welding Society, and she just goes around and shows people welding at like state fairs and stuff like that. And then in the afternoon, I talked to, who was the other? Like I talked to a guy in the UK, and he does like huge industrial pipes. Like he's an industrial pipe welder, but like a lot of people, when they think pipe welding, it's like the pipeline, but it's like, no, like giant boiler types and everything like that. And then like last night I talked to another guy that does like giant stainless steel pipe up in Canada.
Is stainless harder to work with?
Yes. Yeah.
So hard.
It's the alloys in it. So when you're welding it, the difference between like carbon steel, you can get it pretty hot. And the only thing you have to worry about is warpage, you know.
Okay.
But like stainless, if you cook it too long, it actually cooks out the alloys in it that make it stainless.
Oh.
So then it will, like in the like food and beverage industry, it's really big, like sanitary welding. If you cook that out, it's going to rust, and it's going to affect whatever's coming through.
Right.
There.
So rust in the corners.
Yeah.
Weld the beads or whatever.
Yeah. Well, it like on the inside of a pipe, like when you're working with like stainless, a lot of it is going to be the edges of where the weld goes in. Like, it'll burn that out, and then it'll start rusting and contaminate. Like if it's a food process, that's a big thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pipe welding is tricky. tricky.
Have you ever done any underwater welding?
I haven't. I really want like the company I work with. I'm really trying to be like, come on, send me out to like, let me just like pay for me to go and just check this out. Just go and do a day class. I've not done it, but I've talked to a bunch of underwater welders, and I don't think that's anything I'd ever want to do with my life because
it sounds really hard and scary.
It's the difficult part of it is not the welding. Like the welding is pretty much the same as what you do on land, but it's just like being able to see it. Like you have so many other things that you're worried about. It's like you're worried about your air. You're worried about like touching it and blowing up, and like getting shocked. Like that's still something I don't understand is like how you can be underwater with like 200 volts going through an electrode and not get shocked. But
that's why they get paid a lot of money.
Yeah. Well, the ones that get paid a lot of money, they do hyperbaric welding. So you are in a tube, like a container with somebody else. It's like usually 2 people, and you're down there for 30 days breathing a mix of oxygen and helium because like it helps regulate the pressure of your body going super, super deep.
Yeah.
So like when they need to repair stuff on like the bottom of the ocean, like those like cables and stuff, that's the type they'll just lower them down and you actually can weld everything dry, but you got to stay in these containers like with one other person.
That's crazy.
Wearing like a voice regulator or like a voice changer. Because if you're breathing helium, it's like it's hard for people to understand. But
there's probably some funny videos from that.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. I mean, I don't know, man. I would not be able
terrifying.
to do it.
That would be rough, yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, if something goes wrong, and you're in a container with someone else, like say something goes very wrong, you're down there with
at the bottom of the ocean.
You're at the bottom of the ocean. It's not like you can be like, we got to get out of here.
How long does it take those guys to get back to the surface?
Like I'm not 100% sure, but I'm sure it's more than. I would think it's at least a day, to get back up because you got to go through the steps of this.
Oh, yeah.
Adjusting, yeah.
If you go up too quick, it's like you get bubbles in your lungs or something, right?
Yeah. Well,
but if they're in a hyperbaric chamber, though, they may already have that. They may be at the right pressure.
I think even still going down there, like that's why they do the mix of like helium to like help your body like acclimate. And I was like, that just sounds too much for me.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's another thing, like everybody, like being in the welding world, it's like everybody going into welding, they're like, I want to be a pipe welder. I want to be an underwater welder because that's all anybody ever hears about. It's like, yeah, you can make so much money being a pipe welder, or you make so much money being an underwater welder. But like being an underwater welder, you're doing way more than just welding. Like you're an underwater construction worker. You know? It's like, you're not just welding.
And a scuba diver.
Yeah. Yeah. You're a commercial diver first, and then you just happen to weld stuff every once in a while.
Right.
And it's really hard to get into. Like you got to be really good at welding first, and then you got to go get into one of these welding schools, which is like the acceptance rate is very small because, you do that, then you get out of school, and then you go work on a boat, and you're not going to be an underwater welder for a couple of years first. You're just going to be helping on the boat and helping on the dives and all that kind of stuff. So it's like, it's a long track to get there, but I mean, it's super, super lucrative, because you get paid more the deeper you can go.
Right.
Like, so it's like you get a pay rate you get your day rate, you get your hourly rate, and then you get your depth rate. And it's like, it's a lot of money. Like people can make like a day, you can make between like $700 and like $2,400 a day, And
yeah, $2,400 a day is pretty good.
That's all right. It's all right day rate, I guess.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah.
I like creative welding, people that weld art.
Me too. Me too.
That's my favorite, I guess, form of welding.
I wish I always tell people, it's like, I really want to get into that, but like my brain just doesn't see it the same way. It's like, I'm a real creative guy, but like when it comes to artistic stuff, like drawing or sculpting and stuff like that, it's like, my brain's just like, I don't know, but I've talked to, there's a guy named Kevin Stone. He does sculpting, and he just did a like life-size Game of Thrones dragon.
Oh, that's cool. Wow.
Like, huge.
Where's that at?
It's in Utah now.
Oh, okay.
Like, but
can't miss it.
Huh?
Said you can't miss it.
Yeah.
Dragon.
That was a crazy conversation I had with him. Like there's this convention called Big Boy Toys, where it's like people bring these gigantic pieces of work that cost way too. It's like a convention for like you build stuff for people that have way too much money.
Yeah.
And so he like built this giant dragon. He's done like giant T-Rexes. He's done like these like Chinese dragons that were out in front of like casinos. He did if you've ever been to Dollywood, the giant eagle down there, he's the guy that did
that.
Yeah.
We're talking about, yeah. That's cool.
What
do those cost?
Millions of dollars. Like he was telling me on like in our conversation, like just getting screwed out of millions of dollars, like from people. Cause the material, like stainless steel is insane right now. Like
and that's meticulous work too, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It takes him like years to make these.
Wow.
And he's had like ones where he's done giant stainless steel falcons and then showed up and the locks were changed on the shop. And, it's just like the art world in general is rough, but I feel like if I spent like a year of my life on something and someone tried to screw me over, it would be.
I think I have to take a big deposit on that one.
Yeah. It's like, I'm going to have like to just get paid up front for at least some of this.
50% down.
Yeah. Well, because a lot of times you don't get paid until it sells.
Right. Yeah.
And so if you're getting commissioned to do it, I feel like that would be, you get paid up front, you get paid at least a deposit.
Yeah.
But if you're just like building stuff to hopefully sell, like that's
a little scarier, but that's I think in a lot of ways that's better though for the artist because commission stuff isn't your idea.
Yeah, it's
still your art. It's your, I guess, your articulation and expression of that thing, of that idea, that request. But when it's all from you, it's completely your expression. So that's a little more valuable.
Yeah, no, it is. You just have freedom to it, and it's like you
just hope it resonates with someone else that has a lot of money.
Yeah, yeah, you really do. And there's people like there's a guy named Ivan Eidler that I talked to. He was on that show, Metal Shop Masters, but he was in the same boat. It was like before he went on that TV show, like he's been doing sculptures and stuff for a long time, but like after that TV show, it's just like he started getting commissioned to do stuff, and instead of people being like, I want this, it was just like, you make it happen.
That's
like,
the best.
Yeah. Like that's the goal for art, like any kind of artist, I'm sure.
If I have anything commissioned by an artist, I want it to be something they create.
Yeah.
I want one of their pieces.
Yeah. I mean, it's a one of a kind. Like that's what I would want.
Yeah.
If I'm commissioning something, it's like you use your imagination, but I just want it to be one of a kind.
Right. Yeah.
I want it to be mine. And like one day I'll try and make something like that. Like I would want to go big if I'm going to like get into the sculpture world. It's also, being a musician, I've been chasing these things, I've been trying to like make these things happen. And it's always like, you look at that other person, you're just like, how? Like, how did this build, But it's just like that one passion, sticking to one thing. I feel like and
doing it over. It's that repetition. Yeah. It's like that with everything. But I think I've noticed with all artists, we all try to express our ways in more than just the main way we express ourselves.
Yeah.
We're all attracted to painting and drawing and building things and manipulating other things. And just any way that you can express an idea is
the ADHD,
satisfying.
It's real, man.
Yeah.
Like I bounce around from stuff all the time.
And obsessive too. We're all obsessive.
So obsessive. Like when I got into welding, like it was like a huge obsession. Like I was like, this is cool. And then I was like, I got to learn every single thing about it.
You have to be careful.
Yeah.
Could be a distraction. Yeah.
Yeah. And then here I am, a year later, or a couple of years later. And I mean, doing the podcast, I've learned too much, it's like I know about all kinds of different types of welding and different aspects of like the industry and everything. But am I an expert? No, not yet. But
you will be.
Theoretically, like I can explain pretty much anything you'd ever want to know about welding, but putting it into practice, it's like a pretty decent welder, and all different processes. But I'm not. There's people out there that are just amazing. Like,
it's an extension of their body.
Yeah.
It's like music. It's like, any type of art. It's all it's all like jujitsu, right? It's just repetition, and you just do it over and over until it becomes natural. It becomes like second nature.
Yeah.
Like walking.
Yeah. And developing your own style. Like, I feel like I think that's the key to any kind of art is like a lot of people, they try to be something else. You know? It's like they try to be like, oh, I aspire to be you one day. It's like, no, aspire to find what's special about you.
Yeah, it's good to get inspiration from a lot of places, but create your own art. Yeah. That's why I like comedy so much, because I got into acting 10 years ago, and acting's fun. I love acting. It's a lot of fun, but it's if I'm working on someone else's project, it's not my art. Mm-hmm. I mean, part of it is, my performance is my art, but the writing's not mine.
Yeah.
And the project itself isn't mine. So I'm just kind of working for them. But if I'm working on my own stuff, and comedy is all my own work, it's my writing, it's my performance, it's my art, my expression. And that's, to me, that's a lot more satisfying as an artist. And then, and with all art, if it's drawing or painting or whatever, I'm not going to copy somebody else's work. I want to create my own work.
Yeah.
And I just started playing guitar again.
Nice.
Because I started playing when I was like 16, and I never really learned it. I would just play around with it. It was kind of just something I just did.
Dabbling.
Some of my free time. And then I'd gotten into the drums a few years back. Probably like 2018, maybe.
You got that electronic. I was there, man. Yeah, I sold you that bad boy.
and it was fun. It was a good way to sort of get into a more creative headspace, mm-hmm. and it was like a good creative expression just to play the drums for an hour or so and let my mind kind of get in that flow state and start thinking of ideas for comedy or just other projects.
That's awesome.
And it was great. And then a buddy of mine who's a comic, he's a really good drummer, was hanging out and started playing my drums. So I grabbed my guitar and I started playing things I'd never played on my guitar. And it's like we're
talking to each other.
Yeah. It was like we were on this frequency together. And I was like, oh, this is really amazing. Like I didn't understand music until that happened.
Yeah.
And so I started playing the guitar a lot. And now I love it, dude. And I have no interest in playing other people's songs. I just keep learning new things that are like my sound.
That's always like my whole career as a musician. Like I didn't start playing covers until like recently, like past couple of years, like we'll start doing covers and everything. But like I hated doing covers because I'm like, I'm not going to be that person.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to be close, and I'm not like, I play guitar, but I'm not anywhere. Like I can't play the same way that XYZ person can play.
And you shouldn't though, because it wouldn't be your sound. That's their sound.
That's so hard for people to grasp, It's like
that's why they sound so good,
mm-hmm.
because they don't play other people's stuff because it's their sound.
Yeah, like you're going back to your talk about acting. Like I have an acting degree. Like
that's right.
I went to college for it, and I hated it. It's like I didn't hate acting. I just don't like saying other people's words. It's like that's why I love writing songs, because I like to tell my own story, or even just tell someone else's story, but in my own opinion.
It's your expression.
Yeah, and like acting, like I love improv. Like I did improv. Like I was in the Idiot Box in college. And
nice.
Did improv a little bit in LA, and then Nashville. I was doing improv for 3 years out there, and I miss improv. I do want to get back into it, but I'm just like, man, I don't have like the free time. Like that's the hard part about getting older, is that your time just is accounted for. It's
yes,
like,
and as you get older, it's like you feel the passing of time a lot more. So it's you realize you're running out of it. So you're way more selective on what you take on, and that's so. Like for me, I don't take on anything new.
Yeah.
I've got the studio, the podcast, and then I try to make sure that everything that I do is all related. It's all connected. So even in business, I've sold most of my company, so I do mostly just business consulting now.
Yeah.
And I do a lot of creative things in business. I work with other clients and help them with their marketing and really anything business related, but I still approach business from a creative perspective. So keeps it fun for me. And I always have, that's my strength.
Yeah.
Daniel is the more analytical of the two of us. I mean, I'm pretty analytical myself, but I still prefer to be on the more creative side, and he's on the more analytical side, which works good together.
Yeah.
And he's better at I'm good at coming up with ideas, and he's better at implementing ideas.
So you're a creative director.
Yeah, basically. And then outside of that, with art, it's acting, it's comedy, mostly comedy now. A lot of writing. I do a ton of writing, and then I'll do other creative things. The guitar has become a solid piece of the creative process for me.
That's awesome.
It's just an extension of my creative process now. So I'll play usually 2 hours a night, and during that time I'm writing and working on comedy and stuff too. And usually I'll start. Sometimes I'll start working on some writing before I play, and then sometimes I'll write after I play.
Yeah.
Or sometimes I'll stop playing because I have some ideas, because it just gets you in that different headspace, that looser headspace.
Yeah.
And then I might do 30 minutes of writing and then go back to playing again.
Yeah, just gotta shake it loose sometimes.
Yeah, it's been really helpful, and also musical instruments are great for just keeping your mind working, because as you get older, if you don't stay active mentally, then you're going to lose it. You'll start to lose your cognitive ability, and I don't want that to happen. And actually, Daniel just read something where, because I'd read some stuff about playing an instrument's a great way to prevent Alzheimer's and dementia and stuff like that. And he said that even if you have Alzheimer's, he read something this week that said even if you have Alzheimer's already or dementia already, if you start playing a musical instrument and really start learning it, you can push that off for 20 years.
You can create pathways again.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah, you could take psychedelics too, probably. Do that.
I mean, duh. That's the best way. Yeah. But like using a musical instrument, like that's how I get all my ideas. Like if I'm stuck on something, I'll just pick up the guitar and just play something, and either an idea is going to come or a song's going to come.
Yeah.
And I've been writing songs for a company called Songfinch.
Yeah, you told me about that last time. Yeah.
Well, last year it was like I've been writing for them since 2017, and like it was always like one or two. It's like you do a couple songs a month, and last year it just like exploded, and I was doing like 20 to like 25 a week.
Wow, that makes you a great songwriter, though.
Last year I wrote I think I was close to 700 songs. Like
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Did any of them?
No. They're all like because the whole thing behind Songfinch is that it's like weddings, anniversaries.
Oh, I guess.
Right now I'm in the Mother's Day crunch. It's like because everybody has the greatest mother out there.
You ever write in? You're like, I'm not giving this away.
Sometimes, like, because I have to constantly making tracks,
right?
And sometimes I'll make a track and I'm like, I'm
keeping this one.
This one's got to be. This is going to be something someday,
Yeah.
But some lines I'll come up with and I'll be like, "Ooh."
Well, dude, your music's awesome.
Well, thank you.
It's great, and you're all of the whole band is great. Like the vocals, the instrumentals, it's all.
I appreciate that.
High level, yeah.
I dig it, man. Like it's been a journey. Like music has definitely been a journey. Like especially like growing older, it's like I look at music way different than I did back when I was a teenager. It's like, I just want to be on stage and people to think I'm cool, you know. And like then I went through, this is a great way to get girlfriends.
Yeah.
It's like I can write you a love song, and then
I thought that's what the guitar was.
That's I mean that's the main purpose of the guitar, But like I went through a lot of just like heavy like just personal growth over the past couple of years, because like I mean you're in the music world, you're always around alcohol, and I loved it. Like that was I would go hard. Like there was never a day off, and then there was like I had to just stop, and I took like 6 months off. Like I was like I'm done drinking forever, and then 6 months down the road I was like, you know what, I like love craft beer, and if I just have like my rule is like 2. It's a rule I try to stick by. It's like sometimes I go a little too far, but I don't drink liquor anymore, because like if I do drink liquor, it's like the quick way.
Out.
That's Chuck Mountain came from. Chuck Mountain was my blackout name.
Oh,
like,
that's right.
That was the like
That's
nickname.
funny.
You know, it's like Chuck Mountain shows up. It's like it's gonna be wild. You know.
Yeah.
And so, but
then as you get older, it just gets sad.
oh gosh, it's so sad. It's just like, look at this dude. Like, what are you doing, man?
Yeah.
And like
it's Chuck Hill when you're older.
yeah, Chuck Foothill.
Yeah.
Or Chuck Valley, you know,
Yeah.
just keep sinking in. You know? But it's been a interesting, you know, my music has changed along with like just the maturity. You know, it's like I love writing now. It's like the whole album that we have coming out, it's like life lessons, and a lot of it's like the hero's journey, or like in the tarot, I'm big into like tarot cards and stuff like that. And so like the major arcana, so like the face cards that you see, like the like Fool, Death, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It follows pretty much the fool's journey is the hero's journey. And that's what like these songs on this album, they're a collection of like I wrote some of them 10 years ago. I wrote some of them last year, you know.
Yeah.
But it's like songs that I've been playing and trying to like teach myself, I guess. Like it's so funny, like when you write music and write lyrics or even like write comedy, like sometimes it's like your subconscious is trying to teach you something, you know?
Yeah, you're learning.
And I have all these songs where it's like, you got to stop drinking, you know? And
which is not good for the brewery tour.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, that's why we do craft beer, you know? It's like craft beer is fine. But it was just like, you know, myself trying to teach myself these lessons and then finally like starting to listen. And it's all the songs on the record. It's like Call to Adventure. And then it's like, oh, we're getting into some trouble. And then it's like, oh, we're working our way out of that. And then like just, it's like things I've learned throughout the years and
the ebbs and flows of life.
Yeah. And then like it ends off with a song called Trying to Take. And it's like, all right, I've taken all this other stuff. I know what this does. Like, what do I need to take to just be a responsible dude? You know, it's like, what is that thing that, where can I buy it? Because I would invest, you know?
Yeah. Well, you're doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's been an interesting couple of years, man. But business, like I love the creative business side, you know, and what you were talking about. It's like, so I'm trying to
it's important. I mean, all artists are entrepreneurs, whether they like it or not.
Yeah. Well, and just like leaning into the business side, like learning more about business in general. You know?
It allows you to do more art.
Yeah. And developing a relationship with money instead of just being like, this is what I used to buy things. It's like money becoming energy instead of just like, this is like, hopefully I'll have money to buy this thing. You know, it's like, no, looking at it as like, this is what you use to propel yourself.
Yeah.
Like,
it's an investment.
Dreams. Yeah.
Yeah. That's anything that I feel like anything you invest in, anything you purchase that helps propel your craft or your business or whatever you're investing in or whatever you're trying to do, if it helps you move that forward, that's an investment.
Yeah.
It's also tax deductible too.
I know.
Yeah.
I learned about the whole LLC life, man.
Like,
that's way cooler.
Yeah. If you're an entrepreneur, if you're an artist, you should have an LLC.
Yeah, I've got two now. We got Chuck Mountain Productions, and then I got Beau Did It, which is my welding side.
So your own business plus your partnership with your other bandmates. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's a different world being financially tied to people, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like, it
but if you can make it work, it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. No, we're all like, we're good business partners to each other.
That's good. Yeah.
But you know, there are growing pains, you know?
Sure.
So.
I've had a lot of great experiences in business, a lot of really bad ones. And I've had a lot of great business partners and a lot of really bad ones.
Yeah.
You know, and usually when you get burned in a business deal, it's not typically because that's a bad person. It's usually because that person got afraid or it's too much pressure. Because it is scary. The entrepreneurial life it's always on the edge, and you're always just one thing from ruining your life.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways. So it's a big risk. You know, it's a big responsibility. And the more successful you become, the more pressure. You know, the more difficult it gets. But you know, like me and this guy, we've done business for years with no contracts, just handshakes, you know, and never had any issues. But then, you know, I've done big business deals with other people and just gotten burned in a very short period of time. So, with contracts.
Damn. Yeah. I like not having contracts with things, but I do understand, like, if you don't have one, then you have nothing to stand on to. So.
It's just it's more difficult to deal with issues that come up if you don't have them.
Yeah.
But it is good if you can not have them. I think still think it's better especially if it's like your band or something.
Yeah.
Well,
there's the music licensing world is like heating up for the style of music I do. It's like it goes through cycles, like when I was in LA, like the type of music I was making, it's just very similar to like what Chuck does, is it just a little bit more heavy.
Okay.
But it was like huge in like film and TV.
What genre is your music?
So we
it's very unique sounding. It's sort of like
it's like blues mixed with country mixed with rock, but a lot of people classify it as Southern rock nowadays. But it's like Southern rock without the flags, It's like that's the way I like to say it.
I mean, I love the sound. I love blues rock and that type of music, and even some of the country licks and stuff are good.
Yeah, well, and there's like a big renaissance in it right now. There's like people like Tyler Bryant. There's Whiskey Myers is like a really big one right now.
Oh yeah. Are you guys still doing that gig on the 20th?
20th of
May 20th?
Yeah, Power and Sound.
Yeah. Let me know if it gets canceled. I'd love to have you guys at that venue.
Oh yeah, I know.
That show. That would be great.
That's that festival I was telling you about. The biking.
The big festival.
Yeah. So I mean, I would love to. I wish we could have gone and done that, but it's always funny. Like that's the funny part about playing music too. Is like you commit to all these different things, and then it seems like every time somebody wants us to do something really cool, it's like, yeah, we're already playing that night.
Well, that's a really cool thing too, though. So
Yeah, I mean, no, I'm really pumped, and the people that run it, like they are. It's a family. Like it's a family. The Williams, like I don't know if you ever heard of Whiskey Foxtrot, but they were a band like popping around North Carolina.
Okay.
And we got connected to them because it was like very similar. But the family, like it's all family. Like his mom was the manager, his dad drove the tour bus.
Oh, that's cool.
His sister was the photographer. And then they started this festival, the Power and Sound, and it's just a mom-daughter. Like it's a mother and daughter of the people that do this, and it's like their festival.
That's amazing.
Like,
that's got to be. That's really cool.
It's a big undertaking, but they do it. Like they show up, and like I'm always like anything I can do to help you out. Like I appreciate it when it's like people are just building something.
Yeah, and it's so cool when you have a whole family that's creative like that.
Yeah, and they have a YouTube channel called Swim Shop, and they do 4x4 van conversions. So they take like old vans and put like off-road 4x4 in there.
I want one of those.
Yeah, me too.
That would be awesome. Yeah.
They look so cool. Like Olivia, the daughter, they just did one for her. It's like this blue Chevy, but it's lifted. It has big old mud tires on it.
Oh, that's nice, dude.
I was like, man, that's so badass.
Get that bass boat paint on the side of it. Like the blue with the metallic flakes.
No, I mean, I don't know if they have that.
I mean, that would be awesome, though.
That would be. Like, so Seth, he actually played on the song we have coming out this week, Moonshine. But he does painting. Like, he does, like, paints, like, motorcycle tanks and stuff. But he's done a bunch of painting on his, like, he has this van that he stripped all the paint off of it and, like, sanded it down, and then he has this like giant mural he painted on the side on it, and then inside it's like,
what's the mural?
I think it's like a peg. It looks like someone riding a Pegasus, like a skeleton on a Pegasus.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, that's great.
Like it was dope.
So 80s.
Yeah. Oh God, he lives there. Like he's back there.
Yeah, I love that dude.
Yeah.
Get the little round windows.
Yeah. No, it has one of those in there too.
Awesome.
Like, and he put like, he redid the exhaust like and put it out to the side, so it's like
nice
shooting out, like, it's badass. But
that sounds cool.
No, I'm obsessed with what they do, and I love working with them. So
that's cool. Yeah. And what's the name of the place again?
The shop that they have, Swim Shop.
Swim Shop. Okay.
Yeah, I'll send you the link to it.
So if you need a modded van, go to Swim Shop.
Yeah, go because they do it all themselves.
Very cool.
But yeah,
Well, what's next? What's coming up?
So
what's the biggest thing you've got next, I guess?
Well, biggest thing is definitely going to be we got a beer coming out with Little Oblivion. It's called Chuck Shine.
Okay.
To celebrate our next single, Moonshine. And then our big, like the full album is coming out in June. And
where can they find that?
Spotify. If you just look up Welcome to Chuck Mountain on like Instagram, Facebook, it'll take you all to the same place.
Nice.
And yeah,
you guys probably have a link tree on there too, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Gotta love those link trees.
Awesome. Well, dude, it's been a pleasure having you in, man.
Yeah. No,
always
it's been fun, wild conversation.
You have to bring all the other guys with you next time.
I know. Everybody, Jeff's in DC right now on a school field trip. And
okay.
Sammy works for a nanotube company.
Interesting.
That would be an interesting.
We had a nanoscientist in recently.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure, man.
Yeah, this has been super fun. Just chatting, man.
Well, be sure to go check out Chuck Mountain and support those guys. They're awesome. And if you enjoyed the episode, be sure to like and subscribe. We'll see you next week. Bye, guys.